This video is brought to you by Helix Sleep. Well, I made the cardinal mistake of having hope, folks, which you think I would have learned by now is like a mistake, that it's foolish, that to see a trailer that is as infamous as this.
Father, when can I leave to be on my own?
Yeah, that one. That I might go, I'll watch the entire thing. Maybe it will surprise me. No, not at all. This is one of the most nonsensical films I've ever seen. There were moments where I had to pause the film just to allow my brain cells to slightly recover from the psychic damage I was receiving from the stupidity of this story. It's so hard to follow. I don't even know if I can even do it justice for recapping it, but I will, here in a moment. Folks, we're talking about Pinocchio, a true story, something that went somewhat viral a few weeks ago because of this stupid trailer. Father, I just want to go out and see the world. Yeah, we're like, that's so funny. The voice acting's so bad. Let's laugh at it. And that was a mistake because the company Lionsgate and the actors involved, like Pauly Shore, are like, oh, that's so funny. You like it. We'll double down. No, that was a mistake. We shouldn't have done that. We can't let these companies get away with it. We can't let them think that they can be endearing because they're silly. Because here's the thing. There's like an interview with Pauly Shore I read where he's like, here's my inspiration. And it's like, no, you phoned it in. You didn't try. None of the voice actors in this movie tried. Don't even spin it that you were being deliberate with your, vision, with your direction. The script was like generated by an algorithm, most likely. And then it sounds like text-to-speech for the voice acting.
Don't you worry, Senor Geppetto. I've got everything under control.
I gotta slow down. I'm getting all flustered already. Let's bring it back in. There are like 4 Pinocchio films coming out this year, and this is the first of them, and most likely the worst. First off, it's called Pinocchio, A True Story. A true story, huh? That's what you're calling it? That's the title? Why? Because we know it's not. And here's Lionsgate. How's their content? I'll let you know how their content is. It's not good. It's actually really bad, and it's gotten worse. It makes me so upset because I see posters and occasional like concept art for the films that Lionsgate like commissions. They go to animation studios like Licensing Brand, and you're like, oh, it doesn't look terrible. It might be good. No, it's bad. It's always bad. And it's been getting worse. Trust me, I know. I'm like, oh, this could be potentially good. Oh no, it's Lionsgate. Never mind. Take a look for yourself.
Can I stay at your place for a while?
No.
We make perfect partners.
Forget about it.
Yeah, it's bad. Licensing Brands is the company that made Pinocchio, A True Story. It's Russian, and you know, it's something to behold, seeing their catalog of films like The Big Trip, Princess and the Dragon, Two Tales. And it's like, yeah, you found a sweet spot, didn't you? Where you're like, parents who are buying these films, you might think it's Pixar, until you put it on, and you realize quickly that you've been duped.
What is that? What the f is that? What is that private pile?
Sir!
Pinocchio.
Sir!
Pinocchio.
Sir, yes, sir!
How did it get here?
Sir, I took it from
The bargain bin.
Sir!
All right, here we go. I'm going to try my best to explain the story for Pinocchio because it is so out there. It is one of the biggest and then stories I've ever seen. Developments that make no sense. Twists and turns that defy logic itself and goes against the characters and their motives and what they're about. It makes zero sense. Okay, so let's begin. Geppetto, voiced by Tom Kenny. Poor SpongeBob. Poor Tom Kenny. Here's your paycheck. Get out of here. Geppetto makes Pinocchio and then gives a wand to some fairy because she's like, can I pick up my wand? And he's like, here it is. And the fairy is taking off because she's like, oh, Geppetto don't want anything. I have no context about the puppet, the wooden boy that Geppetto just made, but I'm gonna shoot some magic over my shoulder and it's gonna do something, and it gives Pinocchio life. And there's like no sense of time here, where it's like it could have been a month from now, it could have been the very next day. But we see Pinocchio on the back of this horse called Tybalt, voiced by John Heder, the guy who's Napoleon Dynamite.
Come on, Tybalt. Let's see what it was.
John, this is some of your worst voice acting I've ever heard. Ever. period. And the horse talks more than anybody else. There's a moment where I'm like, is this the horse's movie? Whose movie is this? But you know, it's either John Heder talking or you're hearing Pauly Shore. So it's like, take a poison. So Pinocchio here loves riding on horses. And there's the infamous line, "Father, I want to go and see the world." And you know what? He gets his chance because he saves this girl, part of a circus. And the circus master's like, whoa, a wooden boy? That's such a novelty. He says to the talking cat and fox, a cat who, to no hyperbole, I healed over laughing because it seemed like this was made up, as in like a joke, a shitpost, something you'd see as a meme. The cat pulls out his gun and shoots Pinocchio.
A wooden boy!
I lost it. There was a moment where I'm like, this might be so bad that it's good. But no, it's just bad. Let's continue. So Pinocchio goes off with the horse, being like, Geppetto, I gotta go out into the world because I wanna, get with this girl. And I wanna go see the world. And Geppetto's like, okay, good, fine, whatever. Good luck. And they go to the circus and then like the ringmaster's like, oh, okay, Pinocchio, you're part of my act. And here's the strong folks. The cat and the fox are the comedy people. My daughter, that's my daughter. She's on the tightrope and she sings or whatever. And then things start to get really bizarre, even more so. Because like this police officer and his guards are just randomly going door to door. And they're like, we don't know what we're looking for, but we think there's something strange going on. What? They have no motive, no explanation for why they're patrolling. They just think it's too quiet. Let us in so we can investigate your home. What? So these folks are in the background throughout the entire film, just doing nothing. And it's so strange because it comes back in at the very end in such a profoundly stupid way, where it's like, there's no way that this happened. There's no way that you actually wove this stupid group of characters back into the film and tried to play it off the way you did. I'll explain here in a moment. So Pinocchio is obviously like thinking with his heart, with his wood. By the way, his nose never stretches out. He never lies. It's never even part of the film, okay? Something also about the horse being the surrogate father for Pinocchio temporarily. Okay. Pinocchio here is part of the act. He's super successful. He gets 5 gold coins, ooh. And then for whatever reason, the ringmaster and the fox and the cat out in the open next to the girl's trailer, they're like, Pinocchio's so popular, we can't let him go. Okay. Then the girl tells Pinocchio, I don't love you, leave. And it's like, wait, hold on, what? She could have just told Pinocchio, these characters are being evil and plotting against you, but instead she keeps that context away from him and just says, I don't like you, which is like, why not tell him the truth? You have no reason not to tell him the truth that these folks are trying to keep you captive and mess with you. No, she lies to him. Why? I have no idea. Pinocchio runs off. Then him and the horse go off to find the fairy because a clown told him that the fairy's that way. Okay, they get to the fairy. The fairy's like, I can't help you. Only you can make yourself human, though she could have made him human. Okay, then this is where things got so profoundly stupid. The fox and the cat are like, oh, we got to get Pinocchio back. They sneak into the forest to ambush Pinocchio, pretend to be the fairy in order to trick Pinocchio to give them his gold, which is like, why? Your mission is to bring Pinocchio back, which wouldn't have been a problem if you said nothing at all to begin with. And then the cat pulls his gun out again, shoots Pinocchio again, misses. This cat has his gun the entire time. This cat is blunderbuss, and his answer to everything is pull out his gun and shoot you, which is kind of based, to be honest. And the fox and the cat are like making things worse. It's like, you wouldn't have made Pinocchio leave if you just kept your mouth shut, and then you go to the forest to rob him and shoot at him. That's your solution. So Pinocchio then comes back to the circus after the fairy. I don't know why. Something about the guards with a handkerchief and how they're like, that's the same handkerchief that belongs to the girl. The girl's in danger. Pinocchio comes back to the circus. Just pretend it's fine. Like, I don't know. It's so confusing. Nothing makes sense. The horse runs off to go get the guards, which something about how like the girl is actually the daughter who is kidnapped by the ringmaster who lied to her about being her father, which she knew, but her actual father was the detective. And then it turns out that the detective thinks that Pinocchio and the horse are gang leaders who are robbing people during the circus performance because that's a thing. And it's like, there's no way that's true. There's no way that it has to be an accusation. No, it turns out the ringmaster and the cat and the fox rob people during the circus performance. Don't know where they find the time because, you know, they're performing, but I guess they run out to rob people. Okay, sure. That makes sense. Why run a business that's actually profitable? We can do that and rob the people showing up to the circus, which might make them not want to come back to the circus.
You, sir, are a monster.
No, I just didn't get enough sleep.
So the ringmaster, the cat, and the fox get confronted by Pinocchio, the horse, and like the rest of the circus performers who are like, we're witnesses. We're gonna sing about being witnesses and that we're not associated with the ringmaster and the cat and the fox, which the ringmaster's like, you're not gonna catch me. He immediately gets caught. The cat freaks out, throws fire at the circus tent, catches fire immediately, and then Pinocchio falls in the fire, somehow survives? What? He's singed, but he's not on fire, so I guess he's not as wooden as we thought. It is so confusing because we don't really know what the characters want exactly, what they're about, what the overarching story is. Anything to do with like lying and trying to rise above it for Pinocchio? Not there. It's all about love, thinking with his wood instead of stretching it out. I guess remains to be seen. Nothing makes sense. And compound that with the voice acting, which is so grating, so robotic. The dialogue feels like, again, it was generated by a machine. It doesn't feel natural. It feels so clunky and unnatural, if anything. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. You might laugh at it for a minute, but when you settle in and start watching the movie, trying to pay attention, it's like torture. That's how bad it is.
Let's go, Tybalt! Great adventures await!
Just the best voice acting we got, folks. Just the best. Now, let's talk about the visuals, the animation, the designs, etc. Because initially I'm like, this doesn't look terrible. It could look worse. I've seen worse. The designs of the characters themselves, competent. And you see the backgrounds too, and you're like, that doesn't look terrible either. There are competent animators somewhere in the studio, but they're not being put to the proper effect. They're not being utilized in a way where it could actually work. Like the film visually is a mess. Like obviously the general aesthetic is not all that pleasing, but it goes so much deeper than that. Like there are times some of the establishing shots actually look okay. Like they're full of detail, but that's kind of the problem. Everything is coated in tons of textures and extreme normal maps so that everything in a scene is competing with everything else for visual dominance. The shots don't even feel very curated in terms of design either. Like typically you want to use the composition of your scenes and shots to guide the viewer's eye to the focal point of the shot, the characters, or the actions that are happening. But because every asset in these scenes are so complex, your eye tries to take everything in at once. This aspect is further compounded due to a very limited use of background blurring, or bokeh. This is an effect achieved with high-end camera lenses and emulated in the virtual cameras and 3D software that subtly blurs the background and foreground elements to further guide the attention to the key parts of the scene. This is what usually gives a movie its professional film look, since smaller lenses like cell phone cameras that are used by everyday people can't as easily recreate this effect. Well, at least not without like faking it via software like your phone's portrait mode or iPhones with its new cinematic mode. That means the overly detailed nature of the movie would benefit more by aggressively using this technique, but it barely used it at all, which makes the scenes even more visually crowded than they need to be. Like, look at it. It's too much. It hurts the brain. Another jarring visual omission seems to be the absence of any object motion blur. Like typically films are shot at 24 FPS, which is a relatively low frame rate. An effect of this is that the film has a lot of blurring when objects move at high speeds. This is another aspect of the so-called film look. 3D software can emulate this effect, but this movie seems to have either made the effect way too subtle or left it out completely. Without motion blur, at a low frame rate, fast movements can feel very choppy, like playing an older video game that's lagging. And since this movie already looks like an old video game, like not having motion blur isn't doing it any favors whatsoever. So yes, the characters and their motives, the story, the voice acting, the visuals, it's like what hurts the most is they have the resources, and I think they might have the talent, maybe just dormant, to make something decent or below average. But instead they churned out this garbage. And folks, I beg of you, don't reward it. Don't like this movie. You can laugh at it, but don't let these folks on TikTok, don't let Pauly Shore, don't let Lionsgate or licensing brands become another asylum with Sharknado, where they are specifically trying to be bad. Like, oh wow, look how bad our stuff is. What an accident. We feel so stupid. Don't buy it, lol. No, don't give them that chance. They don't deserve it. Do not reward bad behavior. Let them burn, like Pinocchio. Or not, apparently. Maybe he's like glossed wood. Well, I guess he was glossed up after that girl got her hands on him. Yeah, I went there. So a big shout out to this video's sponsor, Helix Sleep. Guys, I got some cool news to share with y'all. So my buddy Tom and I recently launched a gaming channel, and we decided to get a home office together. A place where we can share a space, where Tom can sleep, where I can come over, we can play video games, do videos about them, all that good stuff. But guess what? Poor old Tom here was originally sleeping on an air mattress. And I was like, no, absolutely not, Tom. We've got to do better than that. And I was like, bro, hold on. I have a mattress sponsorship. I know somebody who can help us out. Let me go talk to Helix. And Helix was like, yo, we got you. We're sending you a mattress. What does Tom want? He did the quiz, and guess what? It's on its way. How cool is that? That is genuinely very cool of them to do that for him. As of recording this video, the mattress is not here yet, but when it gets here, we'll open it up, we'll do a review, and it will be featured in the next spot. But I just wanted to say, again, it's on its way, and I think it's pretty damn cool. Helix is legit. Now, for those who don't know, Helix Sleep makes premium mattresses and bedding that are customized to fit your needs. On top of that, it's conveniently shipped right to your front door. Also, Helix is no stranger when it comes to bed preferences. Everybody's different, and that is why they have a sleep quiz that matches your unique body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. Just like they did for me, and like Tom did recently for himself. Do you want to have a firm mattress or one that is super soft? Hey, perhaps a fusion of both. And what position do you sleep in? On your side, on your stomach, or on your back? For me, I'm a side guy. I get to be on my side and look at my phone, and then I pass out on my bed. Because that's how I do it, guys. That's how it's done. Well, for me. I shouldn't be on the phone that late at night because, you know, my eyeballs. And for those of you who share a bed with a partner, you can have them take the quiz with you. So you both can find a perfect compromise. So when I took the sleep quiz, I was like, I want a bed that is squishy, but not too squishy, firm, but not too firm. And then the quiz was like, yo, you want the Midnight Luxe. And they were absolutely right. Also, I got it in queen size because I'm a queen. Yes. Because I like large beds, that's why. Also, I got like a lot of pets and they take up most of the space in the bed. And again, this mattress is mailed right to your front door. When it first arrived, I was like, no, there's no way my mattress can fit in that box. I don't believe it. And then I opened the box and poof, there it was. The mattress materialized before my very eyes. And if you're hesitant about buying a Helix you haven't been able to try, then hey, no worries. There's a 100-night sleep trial. So you have over 3 months to try out your selection and make sure that you love it. If you don't, Helix will pick up the mattress and you will get a full refund. Helix also has this 10-year warranty, and they even offer financing options and flexible payment plans, so a great night of sleep is never far away. So I absolutely recommend Helix Sleep. Click the link down below or go to helixsleep.com/Saberspark and get up to $200 off your Helix mattress, plus 2 pillows for free. Go check them out today.